Every man lives two lives. The first begins when he opens his eyes, and the second begins when he opens his soul. The first life is survival, routine, comfort, repetition. It's the illusion of living while moving through days that all look the same. The second life begins when something inside you breaks, when you realize that comfort is not peace, that pleasure is not purpose. It's the moment you stop asking for life to get easier and start demanding more from yourself. Most men never wake up a second time. They grow old without ever truly living. They chase distraction to avoid the silence, validation to hide the emptiness. They follow paths others created and call it destiny. They live for approval and die forgotten. But the rare man, the awakened one, he breaks that pattern. He stops running from pain and starts facing it. He sees that pain is not punishment, but guidance. Every scar becomes a map, every wound becomes a message. Awakening isn't a single moment, it's a process. It's dying to your old self, every day, piece by piece. It's cutting away weakness, ego, and illusion until only truth remains. You begin to realize that no one is coming to save you. No mentor, no lover, no friend can do the work meant for you. You are both the problem and the solution. You are the builder and the battleground. When the soul wakes, clarity follows. You stop chasing everything that once blinded you. You stop needing to prove your worth because you finally see it. You move with purpose, not pride. You start to lead yourself instead of waiting for direction. That's when life begins, not when you are born, but when you decide to become who you were meant to be. The greatest war a man will ever fight is the one no one else can see, the battle within his own mind. Every day, he wakes up with two voices competing for control. One whispers of comfort, of rest, of compromise. The other calls for discipline, strength, and sacrifice. The tragedy is that most men spend their lives listening to the wrong voice. They surrender to their weaknesses and disguise it as peace. But peace without strength is only surrender wearing a mask. The enemy within knows you better than anyone else ever could. It speaks in your own tone, mimics your thoughts, and knows exactly where to strike. It feeds on hesitation, on fear, on laziness. You can't destroy it, but you can starve it. You starve it by doing what you don't want to do. You silence it with consistency. You weaken it every time you act despite your doubts. That's how you build mental armor, through repetition, not motivation. Discipline is not about feeling inspired, it's about building systems stronger than your emotions. It's choosing long-term purpose over short-term pleasure. When you master this, you become unstoppable. You stop being dragged by moods and start leading with decisions. The mind becomes your servant, not your master. Understand this, your greatest victories won't be celebrated, because they happen in silence. They occur in those early mornings when no one is watching, in the quiet moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. Every time you win that unseen battle, your spirit grows sharper. Every time you refuse to fold, you shift from being a man of reaction to a man of intention. The war within never ends, but neither does your strength if you keep fighting. Solitude is the crucible where a man discovers who he truly is. It strips away distraction, noise, and validation until only the truth remains. Most men fear being alone because in silence they meet themselves, and not every man is ready for that confrontation. They bury their emptiness under company, entertainment, and constant noise. But solitude reveals everything they've been running from, their weaknesses, insecurities, and unhealed wounds. It's a mirror that doesn't lie, showing both the potential and the rot. Yet, solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. The man who embraces it begins to build an unshakable foundation. Alone, he learns to think clearly, act deliberately, and move without needing approval. He learns that peace is not found in others but created within. Solitude teaches him self-respect, the understanding that his own presence is enough. That's when growth begins, when dependence fades and self-reliance is born. When you master solitude, you no longer fear distance. You don't beg for attention, you don't chase belonging. You understand that connection means nothing if it costs your clarity. You stop confusing loneliness with peace. The world starts to slow down because your thoughts move with precision. You become deliberate with your time, your energy, your words. In solitude, the mind sharpens, the soul strengthens, and the vision clears. You begin to recognize who deserves your energy and who drains it. You see that standing alone doesn't mean isolation, it means elevation. Every great transformation begins in silence, every leader is forged in distance. The man who can walk alone, without bitterness or fear, walks closer to truth than anyone else. Alone is where you break, rebuild, and rise into the man the world cannot shake. Discipline is the foundation upon which every great man builds his life. It is not a cage, but a crown, a quiet power that separates the strong from the ordinary. Most men chase motivation, but motivation is fragile. It fades with moods and circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is constant. It's the muscle of the soul, trained through repetition and tested through resistance. The man who masters discipline doesn't wait to feel ready, he acts because his standards demand it. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's waking up when the world sleeps, showing up when no one notices, working when excuses are easy to find. It's sacrificing comfort for clarity, ease for evolution. Every act of control sharpens the mind and hardens the spirit. The disciplined man doesn't seek shortcuts, because he knows growth only lies in effort. He doesn't chase pleasure, because he's tasted the satisfaction of mastery. A disciplined man becomes predictable in the best way, his word means something. His actions follow intent, not emotion. He's not swayed by temptation or opinion. He builds quietly, consistently, relentlessly. Over time, the world bends to his will, because discipline bends reality to persistence. Understand this: discipline is not about perfection, it's about commitment. You will fail, stumble, and fall, but you will rise each time, stronger and sharper. That's the promise of discipline, it transforms chaos into control. It takes an ordinary man and turns him into a weapon of focus. When the world grows distracted, he grows sharper. When others waste time, he refines his purpose. The disciplined man doesn't talk about his goals, he becomes them. That's the difference between wishing for greatness and building it, brick by disciplined brick. Silence is one of the highest forms of strength. It's not the absence of words, it's the presence of control. Most men speak to be heard, the wise man stays silent to understand. In silence, you hear what others miss, the tone behind words, the truth behind noise, the weakness behind arrogance. The loud man exposes himself, the quiet man observes, calculates, and moves with precision. His silence is not emptiness, it's a weapon. When you learn to be silent, you stop reacting to every insult, every challenge, every attempt to provoke you. You stop wasting energy explaining yourself to those determined not to understand. You stop fighting battles that don't serve your mission. Silence protects your peace, and peace protects your power. It's the art of knowing when to speak and when to let silence speak for you. A man who can hold his tongue controls not just his words, but his world. He becomes unpredictable, unreadable, and untouchable. His calm presence commands more respect than any raised voice ever could. Silence unsettles those who live off reaction, it makes them confront their own noise. But silence isn't passive, it's strategic. It's knowing that not every truth needs defending, not every question needs answering. The man of silence isn't weak, he's wise. His restraint comes from strength, not fear. In his quiet, he observes patterns, measures motives, and prepares his move. The world constantly screams for attention, but power belongs to the one who can remain calm in the chaos. Let others argue, boast, and explain. You, stay silent, stay steady, stay certain. In that quiet composure lies dominance, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself, because it's already felt by everyone in the room. Pain is the greatest teacher a man will ever know. It speaks a language that comfort never can. Most men run from it, fearing its weight, but those who face it discover its hidden gift, clarity. Pain strips away illusion. It exposes the truth about who you are, what you value, and what still controls you. It humbles the ego and awakens the spirit. It demands that you confront yourself without disguise. Every scar, every heartbreak, every failure carries a lesson written in the language of endurance. Pain refines you. It burns away weakness the way fire purifies metal. It forces you to evolve, to let go of what no longer serves you. When you stop avoiding it, pain becomes purpose. It teaches patience, grit, and gratitude. It shows you that strength isn't the absence of suffering, but the decision to move forward despite it. The man who learns to endure pain without resentment discovers his own power. He no longer asks, "Why me?" He asks, "What is this shaping me into?" The truth is, pain never leaves you untouched. It either destroys you or rebuilds you. The difference lies in how you respond. Those who hide from pain live fragile lives, forever dependent on ease. But those who embrace it walk through fire with calm eyes. They understand that pain is not punishment, it's initiation. It introduces you to your limits, only so you can surpass them. The man who can carry pain with dignity becomes unbreakable. He no longer fears loss, rejection, or failure, because he's already survived worse. His scars become symbols of strength, not suffering. Pain will visit every man, but only a few will rise from it reborn wiser, calmer, and carved in the shape of resilience itself. Respect is the quiet currency of real men. It cannot be bought, demanded, or forced, it must be earned through consistency, discipline, and integrity. A man's worth is not measured by his possessions or his words, but by how he carries himself when no one is watching. Respect begins with self-respect, because how you treat yourself teaches the world how to treat you. If you speak carelessly, move lazily, or compromise easily, you teach others that your boundaries are negotiable. But when you act with principle, when you stand firm in your truth, respect follows without you ever needing to ask for it. Respect is built in the small, unseen moments, the promises you keep, the responsibilities you handle, the restraint you show when ego tempts you to react. It grows when you show strength through composure, power through patience, and confidence without arrogance. The man who commands respect never has to chase it, because his actions speak louder than his voice. His presence alone shifts the energy of a room. But understand this: real respect has nothing to do with fear. Fear fades when the power dynamic shifts. Respect endures because it's rooted in character. People may not like you, but they will have to acknowledge you. The man of respect doesn't bend to trends or opinions. He lives by a personal code, guided by discipline and truth. To earn respect, you must live in alignment with your word. Say little, do much. Keep your standards high even when no one is watching. Walk with humility, yet with the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is. When your character becomes your reputation, respect becomes inevitable, and your silence becomes more commanding than any demand for recognition ever could. Detachment is not coldness, it's control. It is the ability to care deeply without being consumed, to give effort without becoming enslaved to outcomes. Most men suffer because they cling too tightly to people, to validation, to success, to the idea of how life should be. But attachment is the root of misery. It ties your peace to things you cannot control. Detachment, on the other hand, is freedom. It's the realization that nothing external defines your worth, and nothing temporary deserves your desperation. When you learn to detach, you stop chasing and start attracting. You move with quiet confidence, no longer begging for what aligns with you to stay. You give your best, but you don't beg for reward. You love, but you don't lose yourself in it. You fight, but you accept that not every battle is yours to win. Detachment isn't indifference, it's emotional discipline. It's knowing when to hold on and when to walk away. A detached man becomes calm in chaos because he no longer fears loss. He understands that everything temporary, money, people, opportunities, will come and go, but his peace must remain. The more you cling, the weaker you become, the more you release, the stronger your grip on reality grows. Detachment doesn't mean apathy, it means understanding that control is an illusion, and mastery lies in surrender. When you stop needing outcomes, life begins to flow through you. You stop chasing what's fading and start building what lasts. The detached man isn't careless, he's clear. He moves with purpose, accepts change with grace, and values freedom over attachment. He knows that real power comes not from holding tighter, but from knowing when to let go, and doing it without fear, pride, or regret. To feel deeply and remain still, that is the essence of mastery. Emotion is not your weakness, it is raw energy. But if left untamed, it will consume you. A man's strength is not measured by how little he feels, but by how well he controls what he feels. Most men are slaves to their emotions. They react, explode, collapse. They allow temporary feelings to dictate permanent decisions. But the wise man learns the art of stillness. He feels everything yet lets nothing control his direction. His heart may burn, but his mind remains clear. To control emotion is not to suppress it, it is to channel it. Anger can fuel action. Pain can refine purpose. Fear can sharpen awareness. Emotion, when mastered, becomes power. It becomes discipline, focus, and intuition. But when you react blindly, it becomes destruction. The emotional man who has trained himself to remain calm under chaos carries an aura that commands respect. His silence holds more weight than another's shouting. His presence disarms aggression because he moves with inner certainty. The world will constantly provoke you: betrayal, disrespect, loss. Each moment is a test: will you act out of emotion, or act out of control? The man who chooses composure becomes unshakable. He learns that silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Calmness is not passivity, it's precision. He doesn't waste energy defending himself or explaining his worth. He lets actions speak and time reveal. To master emotion is to master yourself. You stop being a prisoner of reaction and become the author of your own energy. The man who feels deeply but remains grounded is rare. He is feared, respected, and misunderstood because stillness in a world of noise is the loudest form of power there is.